Hello, hello. I'm watching basically the last round of Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. Um, had a few appointments this morning, early afternoon, so we're just tuning in now, just in time to catch the closing round, uh, and then presumably an announcement of who will go home with the WBA featherweight title. I believe Nick Ball is defending that belt versus Brandon Figueroa. So here we go. Apparently this has been a very close fight thus far. So let's see who takes it home. Of course, Brandon has the height and reach advantage over Nick Ball, Nick the Wrecking Ball, and right away here we go in the 12th. Figueroa fighting out of South. Oh my goodness! 15, not even 15 seconds in, and Nick Ball is dropped flat, prone on the canvas. He rises into the corner. The referee motions him to come forward, put up his hands. Referee speaks to him and motions the fight to resume. Right away, Figueroa unleashes. Ball's just covered up, falls halfway through the bottom rope, or second rope rather. Will he raise? Oh my goodness, I think the ref just waved it off. Nick Ball just got KO'd by Brandon Figueroa. Wow. Okay, well that was dramatic. Wow, I can't believe it. Unbelievable. Brandon Figueroa stops Nick Ball within the first 30 seconds, and somebody in Ball's corner is very upset. The officials seem to be trying to contain some sort of physical conflict from erupting. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, people are throwing stuff in the corner at Figueroa's corner. People in the audience are throwing stuff into the ring at Brandon Figueroa's corner. That's the second thing that got thrown. Security's trying to ask them to stop. Wow, could be a whole melee. This could be very difficult for Brandon Figueroa to get out of the venue unscathed. Oh, more things being lobbed at the corner of Brandon Figueroa. I'm not sure why. But certainly Brandon Figueroa's moniker, the Heartbreaker, I mean, I think he used that because he's referring to his good looks. But at this point, yes, heartbreak indeed for Nick Ball, fighting more or less in his home country, in front of his home crowd. It looks like a packed house in that venue. Congrats to Brandon Figueroa and his team. I can't remember the name of his trainer. It's the same fellow who trained Andy Ruiz when Ruiz stopped Anthony Joshua. I imagine his name will come back to soon. All right. Wow. So Nick Ball gets knocked out in the 12th and final round. He loses his world title in front of his home crowd. Heartbreak indeed. So I'm wondering why the sour grapes. Okay, Brandon Figueroa landed a beautiful left hook, even though he's in southpaw position. Landed a beautiful left hook that just dropped Nick Ball straight out on his front. Ball beat the count. The referee motioned for him to continue. Ball just covered up, and Brandon unleashed. Ball fell through the ropes, between the second and third ropes, and the ref waved it off immediately before he could even get raised to his feet. So absolute jubilation in Brandon Figueroa's corner. Again, I'm not clear why the crowd is so anti-Figueroa. Is there any type of controversy leading up to this? Oh boy, now they're doing an ad for Mario Barrios versus none other than Ryan Garcia, of course. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, but who's here? Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. I tuned in just to watch the 12th round of Brandon Figueroa versus Nick Ball. This ended in a 12th round KO for Brandon Figueroa. He dropped Nick Ball twice, and the ref waved it off after the second time because Ball fell halfway through the ropes onto the ring apron. Nick Ball making his exit, being cheered by the crowd in his hometown, I think, of Liverpool. Thank you so much for joining me. Nick Ball didn't even stay in the ring for the official announcement. Wow. So, slightly... they're calling it a TKO. New WBA featherweight champion, Brandon Figueroa. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to have to listen to some of the post-fight analysis to understand why the crowd was so vehemently anti-Figueroa. Figueroa holds up his belt to the crowd, raises his arms, I guess holding a drink that he's sponsored by, I would imagine. Much respect. Thank you for tuning in. Apparently, up until this stoppage, it was a close fight, but Brandon didn't want to leave it in the judge's hands. Okay, post-fight interview. That's it. His trainer's Manny Robles. He was the fellow who trained Andy Ruiz. Was working with Andy when Andy knocked out Anthony Joshua.
And I'm just grateful for the fans here in Liverpool. I'm just very excited to become champion again. Big shout out to Nick Ball. He's a great Liverpool champion, one of the best England's ever had. Nothing but respect to the champion. I just keep my head down and nothing but respect for the crowd here. I'm sorry we didn't be nothing. We're just excited. I'm sorry about that.
I'm not really sure what Figueroa is apologizing to. He's very gracious. He acknowledged Nick Ball being a great champion. He acknowledged the Liverpool boxing fans who were there.
Nick Ball is a great champion, tough. He wasn't going anywhere. But I just caught him with that short lip. I just went out there and finished it.
You've been very confident since this fight was made nearly 2 months ago. You've always said that you were going to come here and win that WBA belt. Why were you so confident that you had the style to beat Nick Ball?
Because he comes to fight. Guys that come to fight, I give a great fight styles, make fights, and I'm just here to give my all, guys. I worked really hard in the gym. Been 3 months away from my
Well, so congrats to Brandon Figueroa for, I guess, in a sense, pulling an upset versus Nick Ball in Nick Ball's backyard. It doesn't get much sweeter than that. So I'm just waiting to hear a little more post-fight analysis to see if there's any specific reason why the crowd was so against Figueroa throwing stuff in the ring after the fight.
You're looking very, very good and strong. So many champions out there now. Shushu Carrington's out there. Luis Alberto Lopez, not a champion, but has called you out as well. What do you want next?
I just want to fight in my hometown. I want to bring my fans to the Valley 956. I want to bring a fight out there. And then it's unified, I always want the best of the best, but I feel like my fans back home, they deserve a fight. So,
Brandon Figueroa doesn't call anyone out specifically. Says he wants to fight in his hometown. Now Brandon Figueroa addresses his fans in Spanish. Well, Brandon Figueroa pulls off the upset, stops Nick Ball in the 12th and final round to take home the WBO Featherweight Championship. The commentators are saying Figueroa was slightly ahead on the cards. But, you know, Nick Ball's style, Nick the Wrecking Ball, he comes to fight, so I'm sure I'm going to rewatch that fight in its entirety once it's posted. And I'd suggest if you're a boxing fan, check this fight out, Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. All right, one moment, guys. Let's see what's going on with the UFC. All right, it's a UFC fight night. Are any of you guys watching the UFC tonight? Okay, right now, the UFC Fight Night is taking place at the Apex in Las Vegas. The main event is Bautista versus Oliveira, not Charles Oliveira. It's Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira from from Brazil. Right now we are still in the preliminaries. Second fight in on the card. A bantamweight bout between Moon Gafarov versus Jacob Wilkach. Jacob, not sure how to pronounce your last name. Alright, so the real fight I'm interested in on this card is between Joji Haraguchi versus Amir Albazi. Albazi's from Iraq, and Joji Horiguchi is already a very big MMA star in Japan. So that is, in fact, the co-main event. I do not really have much interest in the remainder of the main card or even the preliminaries. So I think we're going to sign off for now, and then we'll tune back in closer to the main event, co-main and main of this UFC Fight Night card. Alright guys, so we just caught the tail end of Figueroa versus Nick Ball. Very hot contest. I'm just waiting to see if there's any post-fight explanation on why the crowd was so anti-Figueroa. We'll give this another couple minutes. Right now, they're on a break. Advertisement. Okay. Of course, they're advertising the Super Bowl tomorrow. Patriots versus the Seahawks. Who do you guys have? I'm not sure if I'm going to tune in or not. Are you guys going to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow? Yeah, hey, how are you doing? What's up? Brandon Figueroa just knocked out Nick Ball and became WBA featherweight champion. So he did that in Nick Ball's hometown of Liverpool, which is crazy. I'm just trying to figure out why the crowd was so anti-Figueroa, because they were throwing stuff from the crowd. The crowd was throwing stuff in the ring at them. Okay, let's see if they address that in this post-fight discussion.
The disappointment for the Liverpool fans. And I guess we are going to need to give Brandon Figueroa his credit, and we will. But obviously, a lot of the talking point will be about that Nick Ball getting stopped here. And
Just
losing.
listening to in on the post-fight. I think we got Carl Frampton, Ade, Barry, and I'm not sure who else doing a stand-up.
This was going to be a tough fight for Nick.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all knew it was going to be a tough fight. Maybe the casual fan.
Carl is saying that Carl Frampton is saying up front, everyone knew this was going to be a tough fight. Good to see you, Sean. Thank you for joining us.
The kid can really fight, and he can dig in. He has a massive heart as well. I mean, the outpush is incredible. And the shot at the end, there was nothing in it, but because he was making Nick Ball have to work so hard, and it was a well-timed shot, Nick Ball was coming on to it. It literally cleaned him out. I think a lot of it was down to exhaustion, but Brandon Figueroa's performance there tonight was exceptional. As was Nick Ball's at times as well. And this is what happens at the very high level of sport. You win some and you lose some.
Exactly that. We do have, well, we know the official scorecards going into that final round before the knockdown, so it wasn't a case of Brandon Figueroa needed that knockdown. Obviously, that was the icing on the cake, Barry, but he was ahead on two of the judges' scorecards going into that final round.
According to Ade, Figueroa was ahead on the scorecards, 2 out of 3 judges. So 2 out of 3 scorecards, Brandon Figueroa was already ahead on points. So he didn't really need the knockout, but he went for it anyways. They're showing in the replay that Nick Ball landed some really terrific left uppercuts and a left hook.
Figueroa was just pushing the punches down. The faster, cleaner work from Ball was having an effect.
Oh, Nick Ball being that shorter, more compact fighter was definitely at a height and reach disadvantage.
To land that beautiful shot, as Carl said, fatigue faces bad there, but you still got to throw the shot. And again, knowing in that last round, you can't afford to lose that round. But both was swinging, then he got caught through him, and that was the open. And he bravely got out.
You know what's interesting?
He wasn't aware of his senses.
You know what's interesting, Darren? I was listening to you on comms, and you were saying that.
Alright, so somebody's calling for Hamaguchi to win that fight.
And in the end, he actually plants the feet to go up the top. So it's almost like he was mixing it up quite well as well, disguising that he was going to go to the body, then bang.
Exactly what you said, disguising it. That's intelligence. That's form from a two-weight world champion. That's someone who knows that.
Yeah, atom weight is under 102 pounds. So sometimes there have been fights at 99 pounds, but those are very rare. I guess you would call that the subatomic weight division. I don't know.
That's why I had him up by 1. I had it level after 10, but it just had so much jeopardy to win the fight in that sort of fashion was incredible. And yeah, I mean, some rebuilding.
So I'm not really sure why Nick Ball didn't stick around. I mean, yes, he lost his title. He got out of the ring. He didn't wait for the official announcement. Thanks so much, Sean.
Ball's head here as he makes that walk back, and it's a long walk, isn't it? It's a difficult walk. It's his hometown. He only lives a few minutes from this arena, so he is.
Wow. Apparently, Nick Ball only lives a few blocks from the arena where he just lost his world title in Liverpool. So that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for sure.
You see what happened in the ring at the end. Maybe not the nicest thing, but he's got a lot of people that support him and will back him, and I like that kind of camaraderie in that gym. So he'll need their help to help get over this. But I mean, it happens. If he thinks about it rationally, he's lost to a very good fighter.
Carl Frampton was just saying previously that in the end, at this level, this world-class level, you know, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. It's not necessarily that Nick Ball did anything really, really wrong.
You think everything's just the worst, you're the lowest of your low. But as time goes by, you didn't get unboxed. You won't get beat up. You're in a fight that you could then was very, very close. You just got caught with a good shot in the last round. I think that's something as time goes by, you can get over that and come back. I'm pretty sure. But he's a good fighter, and the run of fighting he's beat.
So the British commentators are saying, hey, you know, Nick Ball will get over this, he'll get past this, he'll come back.
So a rest is not a bad thing, I would say that.
Yeah, one thing he has been, you're right, Barry, is busy. They've been giving you fights every 4 to 5 months, and maybe now this is the time to press pause. And just to think things over. They're
also saying, hey, he's been fighting every 4 or 5 months, so maybe Nick Ball can take a rest now.
As Barry touched on, didn't look great against Joey Gonzalez. Didn't look great in the second fight against Stephen Bolton as well. Maybe not the strongest at this new weight class for him, but it seemed to all come together. Second time under Manny Robles as well. It just all worked tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's a massive shock. I'll give him a hell of a chance. You speak to a lot of people about 5 weeks, look, we was there at the weigh-in with yesterday, and a lot of people say this is a real pick of 50-50. He's been at the weight for 3.5 years or something like that. Figueroa has grown nicely into it. And yeah, he fought to his strength. I was saying all along, you know, certainly when it comes to the scoring, about the aggression being effective. You know, you might be coming forward, but you've got to...
Yeah, the loss is for sure going to be devastating, especially because he lost a world title in his backyard. But hopefully his town, you know, the people in his hometown, you know, still support him and give him a boost.
So it was that effective aggression, if you like. Ali, he's a two-weight world champion. He already was, and in this fight, but he's regained another title. He's beaten a
Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
His career's still going. This kid could be a Hall of Fame fighter before we call it a day at some point.
All right, so the commentators are still singing Nick Ball's praises, and I would agree. I enjoy watching Nick Ball. That's why I tuned in, albeit pretty late, but Nick comes to fight.
Just your reaction to a thrilling fight with a quite shocking ending there.
Yeah, it was a heavy knockdown at the end there, so it was quite concerning. You know, he was face down, so it was good to see
Josh
him
Taylor.
getting oxygen and getting out quite safely and swiftly. You know, so yeah, it's a heavy.
Josh Taylor just saying, hey, it's good to see that Nick Ball was able to recuperate and get out of the ring fairly quickly.
I've never really saw Nick on the back foot and moving on the outside quite a lot. So you've got to give credit where credit's due to Figueroa for sort of holding the centre of the ring and making sort of Nick box his kind of fight, his own kind of fight. So yeah, you've got to give credit to the champion, but yeah, I feel bad for Nick there because that was a horrible way to go out there.
Josh is giving credit to Brandon Figueroa for holding the center of the ring and making Nick Ball box, which is not as typical.
I mean, obviously I never had the scorecard in front of me or scoring it down, but just going from watching the fight, I had sort of figured just slightly ahead.
Josh Taylor agrees that Brandon Figueroa was slightly ahead on the scorecards.
Taking the last round could have won the fight. So yeah, obviously devastating finish for Figueroa, and obviously great for him.
All right, guys, don't forget we are now in the month of February. As always, it's always helpful if you leave a gift or some jewels or even a super thanks, because the sooner I reach a total of $100, then YouTube will pay me out the next month. So, I mean, I like to try to build that up towards the beginning of the month. Oh, thank you so much for the medal. That's so cool. I really appreciate that. Is that Adam? Thank you, Adam. Much appreciated. Yeah, every penny helps, you guys. So, I mean, gifts are cool. Super chat, super thanks are cool. You can, if you can't do it right now, you can always come back to the channel and put a super thanks on any video or even short. We need gifts and donation, people. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Sean. Yeah, like that, just to get over the hump with YouTube, it's like they take certainly their piece of the action. So I think I need to raise more than $100 for it to count as $100, but nevertheless, every penny helps, so it's all appreciated. And yeah, I'm really grateful for every gift, every jewel, every super thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to want the biggest prize possible. You know, he's, in my opinion, completely boxing three-weight world champion. That's incredible. You know, he'll be looking for the biggest possible fights out there to really cement even more history. Carrington is a different breed, that man fighter, really can shoot. He's incredible. But there's big fights in the division. The division is still searching for.
So now they're talking about other fights in the division. Bruce Carrington. I don't know. Who would you like to see Brandon Figueroa face as a featherweight world champion?
He wants to do it. He's had an incredible career already. Let's not get that wrong. He's earned some good money. He's succeeded. If he thinks to himself as well that I've had enough, that's it, but he could certainly come back.
So what about trilogy with Stephen Fulton?
There is loads, and the fact that you said, Darren, that the Ring Magazine belt is vacant shows how busy and how tough that division is to actually get that Ring Magazine belt. Right, that was a dramatic ending. So,
All right, so
was Andrew Kane and that fight against Alejandro Gonzalez, that was dramatic as well, Carl. We thought it was over round 8. We were like, okay, I was getting ready to kind of sum up what Andrew Kane does next, because it looked like he was done here.
sounds like there was another great fight on the undercard.
His body shot and he was really hurt. Look at, he's still on his feet here and nothing really happens and then he falls down. So it just shows you that
Gonzalez versus somebody. Oh,
it was weird.
oh my goodness. Somebody got stopped with a couple of body shots. Or got dropped with a couple of body
I always
shots.
thought he could maybe come back and pull something out. Didn't expect him to do it in the next round, if I'm being completely honest, but fantastic shot to finish it. And what he done in that round, he was so relaxed. He was tense the rest of the fight, but the body shot made him relax a little bit more, and he just threw a shot and got the win.
Yeah, we're listening to the post-fight commentary here on DAZN, their Beyond the Bell show.
As to what we said, I think we've got the audio now of what Paul was saying, just to kind of really motivate him and galvanize him to get up to go in for round 9. Can we play that audio?
Adam, you're saying something about your cousin? Cousin range 2-3 jiu-jitsu amateur at 160 pounds?
I love that, because sometimes you can get all technical, can't you, and to do this, do that. Sometimes it's simple, look, you've got to find a way through. I'm not like, as Andrew Kane found himself, didn't he? He was like, he started screaming to himself, I'm going to find a way through this, don't worry.
Fantastic. I mean, there's something out of Rocky that it really was. But you can see the pain.
Okay, so this looks like another fight I'll have to watch back again.
Breathe as much as he could in agony to come out the way he did. And can I just say, from start to finish, that was a fantastic show. We had a bit of everything. We really did brilliant night of boxing.
But Kane there, I think, was in his own thoughts. I think he's, you're immersing your own pain, and you're just thinking, how can I get out of it? And that should have been a recovery. I wasn't that worried. That should have been a recovery. 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, sounds like some real dramatic.
Back in his lungs. And he just went for it. He landed a lovely shot. But then the next
Andrew Kane versus Alejandro Gonzalez. My goodness. Some back and forth action here with Andrew got dropped twice and then he came back. Well, spoiler alert.
Andrew said at the post-fight interview of Death, no, I got up myself, but I think the crowd helped him get up.
Well, a massive football city, this, and to use the phrase they're doing football, crowd being the 12th man, they were that for Andrew Kane for sure. He was in a bad, dark place, and that's some big fairy tales there. He's fighting for a world title in his next fight.
All right, so it looks like Andrew Kane versus Alejandro Gonzalez is another fight we're checking out. That was for the WBC bantamweight eliminator.
It really has. It showed a lot that you can't teach, you can't buy. So that brings a lot of self-belief.
I have not ever been to Clearwater, Florida. I've been to Orlando, of course, to Disney World. Where else have I been? I can't remember, but not Clearwater. Not yet. What's it like in Clearwater?
But you're there now. That fight was the fight to get to there. You only want your chance to fight for it. What happens then will happen.
Won't be easy there, potentially going to Japan.
They have nice beer? That's funny.
Difficult, but titles should always be difficult if you're a challenger trying to win one. So we know it's going to be different. Inui is a good fighter, not as good as the brother, but difficult. Not many are. But the 4 plane tickets there, though, surely.
Japan. I've always wanted to go there as well. That would be
Don't
to a city to a country he's never been before.
All right, guys. Are you guys Brandon Figueroa fans? Just curious. Who do you think he should fight next?
Went to America, he can't have to go the opposite way. All right, it's been an incredible start to the year.
Come visit. All right, Larry. I'll have to make it a point to come to Clearwater, Florida. All right, looks like Marab was in Gafarov's corner. Marab Dvalishvili was in Moon Gafarov's corner. He's from Tajikistan. Waiting for the official announcement. Oh, no. Wow. Gafarov, I don't know why he raised his hands, because he tapped out to a reverse guillotine. Huh, okay. Any case. Florida is too hot for you, Sean? That's funny. Okay, so let's see what's going on here with this. Not sure what's going on with this fight, because the guy tapped. So let me... They're gonna call it a draw? What? Are they gonna change it? Okay, no, the Polish guy won. That's what I thought. The other guy tapped, so I don't know why he was raising his hands initially. That was very strange.
Sounded and time expired.
Oh, I see. It's a question of whether the round is over before the guy tapped or not. And I think...
Ladies and gentlemen, the guillotine submission comes just before the bell, round number 3.
Came just before the bell.
59 seconds, your winner.
1 second before the bell, so that's why. Alright. So if you're not going to tap, don't tap. Just go out, I guess. Interesting. Alright, so congrats to I can't say his last name, Jacob Wicklaz. Oh, thank you so much for the gift. Really appreciate it. That's from Sean. Thank you. I can't read what it is in terms of a gift, but it is a gift, so thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it. A bronze medal. Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much. That is so kind. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, this kid, Jacob, did a guillotine from the top, so that's kind of cool. It's a torch and medal. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate it. Much appreciated. Wicklaz is the fellow's name. So yeah, I mean, guillotine from bottom position, we see that a lot, but he did a guillotine from top position, so that's kind of cool. Alright guys, I think I'm going to sign off for now and then come back just before the last two fights on this fight night in Las Vegas. No diss to all the rest of these fighters who are fighting, but I'm not familiar with any of them. Okay, up next we got Wang Kong versus Eduarda Moura. Then we have Javier Basharat versus Gianni Vasquez. After that, we have Bruna Brazil versus Ketlin Souza. I think I've seen Ketlin fight before. Following that, we have Nikolai Veretnikov versus Nico Price. Then Alex Morono versus Daniil Donchenko. Those are the preliminary fights. Then on the main card, first fight on the main card is Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Next, it's Jean Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. So Jean Matsumoto, he's from Brazil. So there's quite a big Japanese Brazilian population, particularly in Sao Paulo. All right, following that, we have Michael Ojeshik versus Marc-Andre Barrios. He's from Canada, Barrios. After that, we have Jalton Almeida versus Rizvan Kunyev from Russia. Then there's the co-main event that I'm interested in, Amir Albazi versus Kyoji Horiguchi. And then finally the main event, not as interested in, but that's Mario Bautista versus I can't say, sorry, mangling his name, Vinicius Oliveira from Brazil. All right, guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the gifts, Sean and Adam. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Every penny helps. You haven't seen much damage, it seems. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Adam, but yeah, just tune back. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when I'm back live for the co-main and main this UFC Fight Night. All right, guys, I will see you soon. Thank you.